Mundra, who's
Hi,
the senior
everybody.
counselor at many schools, heading the counseling division at a number of schools with 14 years of experience and more. And she started her journey with being the Warwick admission officer for 7 years, then working as a freelance independent counselor, and now working at schools as the college admission guidance counselor. We have Manvi joining us from Manvi. Say hi, unmute yourself. Uh, from Delhi. She is heading a large organization in Delhi where she counsels students on college guidance. We have Bijal.
Hello.
Bijal Shah, hi. She's joining us from D.Y. Patel International School, and welcome. And also again, very, very meticulous, very glued in as to what it takes for students to get there. Purvi from JNIS, Jamnabai Nursi International School.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining in. Again, we are all here to answer questions. I can see some other counselors as well. The main reason why we are holding this panel is largely because we also have huge questions from parents and students as to how do we build the resume? What does it take to get the outstanding or differentiating factor which will help us, our applications to be different. Transcripts have a story to tell which cannot be replaced. The test scores also have their own story to tell. But most important, I think, is also what differentiates you in terms of skills. And sometimes the only way to gather skills is through practical work. And this is something I've been saying at forums for the last 30 years. So now the question arises in COVID, how do we get the practical work? So we've been saying these things again and again, but the question is, how do we get the practical work? And that led us to thinking and being innovative. And luckily, we had a huge response from very senior people like Seema Mahajan, Kaushik. I mean, all these people I've known for a long time, from mentors. We dipped into our own student chats who were there for a long time with us. And they are the ones who told us that, yes, we are happy to be part of you. We are happy to help students. We are happy to share our journeys. And to that extent, this is what led us to this current program, where we are hoping that students from home would be able to really see what is happening and what is it that we can do to manage the COVID in a productive way, right? So we will have continuous Q&As, because I think that now you all are fed up of just webinars where you don't have a voice and it's a one-way traffic. We have been quite quick to learn. So the young people here, you can keep putting your questions on the chat box, and we keep answering them as we go along. We have supports who will help you. And I see Seema ji has joined us. And so welcome, Seema ji, onto the panel today. Yes. And I was just telling the young people who had joined us that we want to establish a precedence of starting bang on time. And we have done that. And I'm grateful to you for joining us. Seema ji is, one of the stalwarts of the education field, and the pioneer who responded to changing the traditional method of teaching. We all were used to the textbook, lecture, assignment, exams, the end. And then 15 years ago, there was a question from students to say, we are thrown into managing family businesses at a young age. Can you help us? Can something be done to change the education? And Seema ji at that time decided yes, and had the courage, the vision, and the pioneering spirit to completely, literally, completely change the traditional business as it was taught. Especially, we were used to the BCom with a lot of accounting heavy dominated programs, and the first BBA entrepreneurship was launched under the guidance framework A to Z, what it takes. And so when last month we were brainstorming on, okay, now it's COVID, we still need to give practical themes and practical experiences. Seema said, oh, give me time and I will just design something. And this was like in the afternoon, and by the night, midnight in fact, we already had a brochure to say, this is what I'm thinking, this is what the entrepreneurship program should look like, and this is what I will teach, mentor, and students can be quite productively busy and happily busy without really having. So that is Seema, who responds to questions, problems, and very quick solutions to student needs. So over to you, ma'am. We are really grateful to you for sparing this time and telling us exactly how to proceed.
Thank you, Pratibha. Thank you, the other panel members. I can see Purvi, Sonam, and the team, Manu, and the group. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here. I think Pratibha has been too good in being, you know, I haven't seen something like this, that somebody takes the responsibility and makes students aware of each and every difficulty and each and every challenge that they are going to face. I am grateful to 98 participants who are present now when we started on time and their interest. I come from NMIMS and I've spent over 2 decades in so-called management education. And with the gray hairs that I have now, which I eventually color dye, I could see generations of students. I know this is difficult time. Most of you are being bombed with so-called academic webinars and giving you lots to do and what not to do. And let me tell you, my young friends who are in their 15, 16, 17, 18 years of age, there is nothing that we can substitute without an exposure. But it's tough time. We are going through it. And all of us as responsible academicians, let me share with you honestly, we are trying to make your journey extremely joyful. All schools, all good schools with all thought leaders, all academicians, let me tell you, we haven't stopped working last 2 months. There is every year we have a vacation. This was first year we never took vacation. Why? Because we also have continuously a pressure on us that how do we innovate so that we make online education extremely interesting and we are able to retain and generate the interest of our youngsters. So first of all, I would like to share with all the young participants here, keep that thought process that we are getting into online or we are going to be at home. Just take this out. This is a silver lining. I am not seeing it as negative at all. Yesterday night, I actually did a webinar talk with over 400 students. I have an alumni base of 5,000 plus. And let me tell you, these are new ways, okay? These are new. We always had difficulty. Something on a lighter note, you all would be knowing NMIMS is very keen on attendance. And we have been pushing rules of 86% of being in college. And today, when we are saying that you stay at home, you all want to come back to college. So that is something which is a very big learning for all of us. There is no substitute to coming to college, being on time, learning from peers. So this is a program which we carved 20 years back. Entrepreneurship. At NMIMS, we do have this program which has been rated pretty high by AACSP, which is worldwide the biggest accreditation unit, and they called it as Innovation of 2020. We have now an alumni base of 4,000, many Jamnabai students, Podar students, SVKM, and other colleges all over the country are here. What is entrepreneurship journey? When Pratibha came to me and Sonam did discuss with me, let me share with you, entrepreneurship is not about business. Okay, many of you youngsters are often heard कि मुझे entrepreneur नहीं बनना है. I mean, I want to work in a big company. Unilever is my dream company. McKinsey is my dream company. Let me tell you, young ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurship has to be in your blood if you want to succeed in any organization. Okay, any education will make you professional at your work. Any skill set which you acquire makes you craftsman at your work. But if you have to work, you need to be human and you need to have stakes. So if I'm working for NMIMS, I'm the founder of this school. This school today has at any given point in time 400 entrepreneurs ranging from 30 crores to 3,500 crores with startups and with parents' business. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. So tomorrow when you join a company called L'Oreal or you join a company called McKinsey and you are given one vertical that you are in charge of this particular capsule, you have to own it. And that is what is entrepreneurship all about. Your boss is going to tell you that, come on, draw a map. Tell me what is your plan? How are you going to address the problem? What does the competition say? What is the viability of this project? How are you going to sustain your business idea? That is what is entrepreneurship all about. It is not about business. So all those who are sitting here, this program that I personally, with Pratibha, I intend to offer it to my youngsters. Today is a need. With COVID, all of us are shaken up. Whether it is a multinational company, I mean, Unilever today cannot work because they do not have logistics and supply chain in place. So today there is a very big challenge ahead, all of us. We have to reinvent our model, we have to reorganize, we have to rethink, and we have to recreate. In this process, when we are talking, it's very, very important in years to come, we have people in the organization who take sole responsibility. So this course is focused on sharing with you at a very young age, how do you identify a problem? How would you pin down that these are 4 things I want to study? Today, when you sit, you have series of problems. Can you narrow it down to one? It's a very difficult thing. Half mom will add, some dad will add, something grandmom will come and add, and you have lots of problems ahead you. So you are completely confused. I see at home, I always see my daughter looking at me and asking me, now what do I do? So how do you narrow down and structure? How do you do SWOT analysis and give shape to a problem? A clean, as it is said, half the disease is solved, half the disease is taken care of if doctor is able to diagnose what are you suffering from. So if you are able to identify what your problem is, you are definitely able to find out. So this program focuses on identifying the problem that you would like to study. How do you do the environmental study of it to understand that the problem that you are picking up is actually a problem or no? Thirdly, what is the business environment with which you are working? What is the kind of strategic, non-strategic, working, operational challenges that you're going to face? So anything when you define has something called working challenges, has something called strategic challenges, and something called operational challenges. So how do you identify that? How do you see financial repercussions on this? How do you draft your marketing strategies? How do you give weightage to power, pricing, promotion, place, everything? So defining a problem and taking it to market is something what is this course focusing on. And when we say we will try to make it very, very interesting, when we are saying that we would be taking you to market, we would help you to see the environment, we will ensure that you take some virtual tours nationally and internationally. I promise, Pratibha, that we will try to get some of these companies who can actually make you see how they are working, how have they taken. I just finished a project where students studied garbage management. Now that's a hot topic, and that's an emerging thing. India needs it. So a set of students finished an entrepreneurship project with me where they are looking at garbage management of the country. So there are several. You may understand entertainment industry. You may want to choose something to do with fast moving consumer goods. You may look at fast moving services. Choice is all yours. But this particular program focuses on creating you an intrapreneur. So you can be entrepreneur, but you can be intrapreneur, because most of you are young. And I think many of you would want to explore your opportunities abroad, work for a year or two, and come back. So putting it up, summarizing it, this will be a module which would cover sessions. I will personally be conducting with the help of my colleagues from NMIMS. We conduct this session. We give you fundamentals. Young ladies and guys, all my young kids on in the group, let me tell you, there is no substitute to fundamentals. Learning by doing is good, but you need to know, what am I learning? So there will be some fundamental. Every day the program will say one hour of learning, but you will have some or the other project, very interesting. Like, for example, maybe you all do a leadership pizza. Now you have been making pizzas because mom has been asking you to make every day now your own. But here you will make leadership pizza, and you will create a core product and the crust. So now that will help me to understand what according to you is your core value and your crust value. So this makes this exercise very interesting. Within the group, we will create groups. So you learn teamwork, how 4 of you coming from fast moving sector work together through Zoom and learn to cross. So there will be individual exercise, there will be group exercise, there will be focused interaction, there will be unstructured interaction. So you go through a management experience at a very early age. Management is an art of getting things done through the efforts of others. Management is an art where we say that you fall into a well, you go as deep as possible in the well, but while you're falling, it becomes extremely important for you to see the steps to come up. So while we are getting you completely deep rooted in entrepreneurship, we also will be using lot of cases, lot of storylines, lot of quizzes, lot of inbuilt exercises to actually make you feel, introspect, see what you are good at, see what you would like to do, also emphasize on how to do. You may like, I want to become Prime Minister of this country, but do I have that characteristic? So what is that skill set that you need? Do you need quantitative analysis? Do you need qualitative? It will be all at basic. And I think something which I like and which I'm very proud of is that, and I would like to say this openly, no class is good unless you feel the worth. And I'm very confident that we will ensure that you love it. NMIMS offers this course. We have been giving it to 60 students. You know how difficult it is, dream college to many of you. And we have been doing it for last 22 years. So I think it's because of my relationship with Dr. Pratibha Jain, and it's the hard work and with the personal touch that she work, I'm here. And I offered and I told her, for you, I will do it. So rest assured that most of the classes will be handled by me with all these panelists supporting me. And I'm sure at the end of the day, some would definitely convert entrepreneurs.
It was so passionate. Ma'am, I want to join your program. And I think that the whole, all of us who's seen it, because I agree with you that there is a misconception that entrepreneurship is only for business people. A lawyer is anybody who is self-employed or anyone who takes responsibility for their project. I completely gel with you. My son is working for Facebook and he says, look, we are given a project to do, end to end, we deliver. How we deliver, nobody really cares. If I deliver, I get a bonus. If I don't deliver, I'm chucked out. So that's also entrepreneurship. Yes.
Pratibha, I will tell you, if we always tell our students, if a company pays you 34 lakhs. Okay, that's our MBA. On an average, our student takes away as campus placement. We often tell them in class that if a company is paying you 34 plus 5 zeros, please add 2 more. That will be the return to that company that you will have to give. And you will, that's how the statistics work. They are not going to pay you because you're from NMIMS. They're going to pay you because they are expecting from you. So you have to own. I mean, if you join L'Oreal, you may be owner of complete domain, a complete product line. So you own it. That's what is our focus in this, that how do you own a particular project is something that we want to talk about in the sessions that we are working on. Yeah. I am open to questions if you have any.
Yes, Purvi and Manvi, if you've read the questions, one of the questions that has been asked is there an age? Because, is there an age when they should learn from you? Or will the school students be able to follow your methodology? Will they cope? That is the fear factor.
There is no age. Okay, let me tell you, we have the history where people at the age of 52 became entrepreneurs. People at the age of 72 became entrepreneurs and they were successful. We also have a history, whereas let me tell you something which I should not be because I'm dean of the school. There is no relationship between academics and entrepreneurship. And it always, when I go to my classroom first day, I always say, most of the top entrepreneurs in the world, they are very proud of being school dropouts. So first of all, there is nothing. Entrepreneurship is a skill set. It's your analytical ability. It's your ability to see different things. It's your ability to articulate. It's your ability to know before anyone else. So how good you are that? It's your ability to observe. All of us are with open eyes and ears. But how many of us observe things? That is what makes an entrepreneur different. Your ability to categorize your learnings and put it to practice is something what makes you superb. So there is no age. Okay, there is no age. But yes, I only expect, and I'm sure Pratibha will agree with me, that you need to have that zeal in you to work. Because this is not going to be school where we will remind you that homework, you have to take the best. And let me also share with you, I am used to students of 26, 25, 24 years. I am wanting to invest my time in younger kids to know you, or as I say, catch them young so that you can deliver better when they come to you. So I want to invest. It's you who have to give me 100% and wake up and work, submit it online. No office will work. I am not used to here to remind. At NMIMS, we don't remind. It's your responsibility because you fight and you come for this. You compete and you come. So you will have, if you are willing to give me this, I assure you that you will be happy. No certificates are important, young kids. It's tomorrow when you excel, it's not certificates. It's your zeal to learn, which puts you up on the pedestal. So there is no age. You can join as and when you wish to.
Okay. So another question that has been coming in. Purvi, do you have any question or any of the panelists?
Yes, actually, I do have a question. One of our students from Jamnabai, Krish, is asking that will this particular program focus on developing the skills regarding entrepreneurship, or is it an incubation program as well?
No, it is development of skill. We will help you incubate, but it will be a little focus because we would help definitely from very nice, Krish. I'm very happy if you are aware of this. So we will help you to generate. So idea generation to idea mapping is incubation. So how do you give birth to an idea को narrow down करके structure में कैसे लाते हो? That's complete incubation period. But yes, will you be able to use incubation services right now? It's not possible. But yes, we will definitely do this process and help you to identify through a guest session, getting somebody, giving you some skill set to work on it. We will be touching upon it. Yes.
So another question has been that we had originally announced that we'll start on 5th, but we now want to start. We want to do, everybody who will register will be interviewed, so that we want people who are serious and who will who will make the most, because I can't tell you that for Seema ji to mentally remap the projects to suit a school age group, and it's a virtual age group, virtual time, and we could have 14-year-olds, we could have 21-year-olds, we could have 22-year-olds joining, and to customize a program so that each one takes away huge value is an important skill even for the teacher and the whole panel of guest lecturers and the her whole team. So it is up to each one to make the most of it. And at the end of it, the whole purpose is not just applications. Please do not do it just because I want to apply abroad, therefore it will look good. Do it because you want that skill, you want to become, you have many ideas. Young people, I love you. When I walk into class, about 100,000 ideas each one has, which is what India needs. We need people like you, but we also need your ideas to have a reality check, to how do you put it into structure. So it doesn't matter. Don't do it only, oh, I need to apply abroad, or I need to go in for an interview. But do it more because you genuinely want that skill. Your mind is full of 100,000 ideas, and you want to know how to flesh them out. Which is the one idea that you want to take to completion? Yes, ma'am, you want to add to it?
Yeah, somebody just asked that my daughter has just finished 9th grade. Can she do it? It's never better. It is never difficult, Sunitji. Age is not an issue. Yes, she will be given projects which would be related to her age group. Okay, she would be given projects which would suit her thought process. So entrepreneurship is a skill, is an experience that you go through. So decision making happens even at the age of 6. I mean, how your child decides. So do not worry about the age. Only thing is that child should do it out of her or his choice. Okay, because since it's an experience, lot of exercises will happen which they will be exercising themselves. They will be working on it, and if they're happy doing it, they will gain the most. So 9th, 10th does not matter as long as your child is happy doing it.
Yeah, so another...
Ruchika is asking, how long is this program? Pratibha, you can answer this question.
Yeah, so we have designed it as a 2-week program, and it will be real contact time will be say 1.5 hours or 1 hour each day, every day. So you have to make that commitment, and then we hope that you will work in groups. So you're excited to join it, and you will have a lot of fun things to do. You in your group, you may do research, you may come up with an idea, and then you flesh it out for 2 weeks. You will hear guest speakers. So it will be 2 weeks of time commitment, 1.5 hours or 1 hour every day of meeting, conduct a supervisor, and then working in groups on your own. Therefore, it is about that why we had Seema ji talking now, because I was just unable to capture her passion for this topic and unable to explain really that it is going to be an experience to remember. And so you have to have that, at least I want to be engaged in my own ideation. Don't join it because your parents think so. Don't join it because it looks on your resume. Really, people who have ideas and want to take ownership for their ideas and want to learn skill sets, it's really a very important. To the earlier you learn, that's what leadership is about. It could be in school, you do a sports event, it could be anything. It's a skill, lifelong skill, which, as I say, I need it, all my panelists need it, all my counselors need it. I keep asking them, do projects, come up with ideas. So it's really going to be useful.
See, today I will just quickly add to Pratibha. Somebody said, how is school going to make me successful entrepreneur? I can address it very openly. Nobody can make you successful. Okay. If I had banked on my school to make it, it's your ability. It's your ability to take each step in life, which is with calculated risk. It's your ability to understand and learn from your failures. It's your ability to introspect and see your growth chart. It's your ability to learn from others' winning strategies, that XYZ. I will take all the young kids here to an example. When you go to Disney, okay, when you watch, it's not about Julas that you remember. It's the experience. So the organization worked for it. When you have Netflix, have you seen when you are at home how Netflix is multiplying every day and working on it? It's the ability of the organization. So no school can make you successful. School can only provide you support so that you become fundamentally strong and you articulate and you become successful. So entrepreneurship is all about your ability. You may have seen at the lower level, as we say, bottom of the pyramid, okay? When you look at any organization, only one person becomes the CEO. Have you ever heard 25 CEOs of the organization? Why? Because that person had a perfect balance of IQ and EQ and has the ability to understand each problem differently. One problem, it's always said in entrepreneurship, it's not the action, it's the reaction that makes you better. So we will only help you to use your third eye differently so that you mark a difference and you make a difference. Successful, if somebody could make, all of us would have been, there would have been no strugglers, okay? I don't think any school starts with the theory that let me make unsuccessful people. You know what? All of us want to make you all successful. So it's your effort, it's your ability that we are only going to channelize you interestingly. You know, your mind here is a CPU. That's the best computer anybody can have. And that's where we use your left and right brain to work together and take the steps further, more calculated. How it will help you? You are developing much earlier in life an ability to articulate, an ability to analyze your risk, an ability to calculate uncertainties. So if you do it at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, I mean, that's phenomenal. You are starting your education with the learnings of calculated risks. So I think that's the only thing which I can say. This is a step where you are using your time productively and you are trying to put your skill set ahead to do something which is out of box in every aspect.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
So some of our DY Patil students wanted to know, is this beneficial only for those who want to eventually pursue business and BBA, or it is even equally useful for those who want to go to the science stream, especially the IT and computer science?
See, tomorrow if you work for a company which is biomedical tools, or it is making pharmaceutical products, okay, let me tell you, pharmaceutical mein entrepreneurial step is most important, because you own a capsule. Today, all the companies are running. What is it? It's an entrepreneurial activity. One scientist leading the whole journey. So he's developing the product, he's testing the reactions, he's making people. So it becomes, I mean, I see entrepreneurship all the more in pharma sector, in science sector. See, if it's a doctor-led hospital, so you are doing business. You may say that I am dealing with humans, but can a hospital run without effective management? You have to have, you need to know, take care of customers, you need to have proper machines, you need maintenance, and if you have good machines, you need proper usage of it. So people like the whole experience. So entrepreneurship has nothing to do with the subject. I feel it is more to do with the ownership. Is Pratibha not an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur. Each one of you who is a counselor here, you are an entrepreneur. The minute you own every student of your school, your task will go phenomenally strong. So that's when you give. See, can a mother come to you and feel कि आप मुझे advise करो half-heartedly? No. When I go to Pratibha, I want 100%, and I think, and I should come out of her room feeling that she's the best guide for my child. Now, what is that? That's entrepreneurship, because Pratibha owns the future of my child. So entrepreneurship is not science, maths, commerce, business. Entrepreneurship is an attitude. I put it up like this. Entrepreneurship works on a model which is 4 words. Cash, K-A-S-H. It works on knowledge, it works on attitude, it works on skills, and it works on habits. So you need to have these 4 things in you to earn the other cash in life. That's entrepreneurship all about. So you work on KASH model and you get CASH, it will follow. So I think I have answered your question. It's not to do with your product. It is to do with your individual. And I always feel, see, any task you do, if I can be little personal, and all the 97 participants now can, the first thing which sells is you. It's your passion. It's your dedication. It's your ability to prove things differently. It's your skill set which you project. Any interview you go. So you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. So entrepreneurship is even individual. It may not even go to subject. So I think your students should be told that it's about you. It's not about what stream that you want to pick it up.
Thank you, ma'am. That's well said. Any other panelists? Sonam, Purvi, Bijal, Manvi, any other questions? Ma'am?
No, I think Seema ma'am was fantastic. I'd just like to add that it's really an honor to have a person like her to teach a program to high school students. She's a college head, dean, a director of a program. To get her to teach college school level and young students is a real privilege for students to get to have her organize a program for them. I have done many programs in the past, but a teacher of her caliber is very rare to get a director level person to teach young people. So to get this program going, to get a person of her caliber to come and teach is a real privilege for these kids. And I think they will really benefit from it because you rarely get teachers of this level to teach students of high school. So all my students who've joined in, I would say, please take advantage of this program that has been designed if you can, and if you have the time for it, because you are not going to get such an opportunity. As soon as we hit July, August, and the college is reopened, I don't think we can get the director of a college and a university to come and teach a second
Normally,
time.
we have to wait. I won't even give the waiting time to meet Seema ji, even for 5 minutes of her time. So I'm very grateful to COVID for this.
Thank you so much. Anything for you, Pratibha. Anything, anytime, and I will be very happy. And I'm sure all your students will be very, very excited to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Seema ma'am, for joining us today, and thank you for being part of this panel. Students, if you have any further questions, you can post us, and we will message Miss Seema ma'am later. But the program will start on the 8th. Thank you, Seema ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you. Goodbye. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
We move on. Yeah, Sonam, the next
So
part.
now we'll move on to the second part of our panel, where we will ask Dr. Jain to share some tips outside of entrepreneurship program. What can students do for resume building during COVID times while they're at home? And post this, we will move on to the next segment, which is talking about the virtual internship program, which we'll briefly touch upon, which will start after the YEP program. So these are just some of the programs that have been curated for students, especially based on the need, the demand, and more than that, if you've attended our last session from international universities, from the Ivy League session, if you've attended that, you do realize that it's not about quantity. It's really about quality. It's not about how many online classes can you do, how much Udemy or Coursera can you do, but honestly, what you can make out of it, what you put in your own learning from those courses. It's not about the certifications that matter. Universities don't care so much about it. But what matters more for anybody, not even university, for your own skill set, is one, you should be interested in the subject, and two, however you use that later in your personal capacity. So suppose you're doing a creative writing workshop from Harvard online on Udemy, then that's not good enough. Have you used that skill in any way? Are you using it to write a newsletter for your school? Have you started a blog? Are you doing something with your peers where you are showcasing this talent of writing? That is more important. So that's why these programs which we're talking about, which are specially curated for students, is actually meant for practical exposure. It is not theoretical, it's practical. So whether you do the YEP, whether you do the VIP, whether you don't do it at all, make sure that what you're learning is there, you find a practical output for it in your own personal capacity. Dr. Chen, would you like to give some tips to the students, please?
Yeah, so we've been having a series of conversations with university officers, and in the last 30 years so many applicants. So what I feel, it's more about quality and not so much about having a 3-page resume where you've done a lot of things. For those who are young, you can probably look at adding skills that you would normally not get time during school time. So look at it as an opportunity. Maybe you wanted to learn singing, maybe you wanted to learn art. Today I have a scientist who's a neurosurgeon, and he's also one of the great artists, and he does solo art exhibitions because he feels that as a surgeon he's stressed so much that art has become a stress buster. And he was telling me he never had time in medical college, but he learned art when he was in school. So don't think, oh, I am a science student, therefore this is I'm in a slot, or I'm a business student, so I'm in a slot. I would say use this time to gather that versatility that universities like to see. So it could be graphic design. If you're learning that, then can you make a website for your, for a neighbor who's cooking from home? Can you design a logo for a simulated company? Do things which add value to you, and do things which you have always wanted to learn, and then take it forward to something you all can actually manipulate into a project. I use the word manipulate because it requires a lot of thought process to not only learn a skill, but to do an application. How is it useful? How is it useful to me? Seema ji talked about garbage management. Uh, a biology, a chemistry student, an engineering student, everybody could come together to understand what is garbage made up of, what is the chemical nature of garbage, what does a landfill do, and how can we all work together. So get your skill sets. More than that, if you already have skills, think how you can apply it, how can you be useful. It could be just managing logistics of something. So everything is what you will need to understand. It could be, we say, follow your passion. This is the time to do it. Maybe there's always been something you wanted to learn, but you never had the time. If I'm a business student, maybe I learn software. Every business needs software. So there is, don't go and learn, C plus sharp. Learn application of business. Today there is CRM. I'm learning. I'm taking classes on how to use Zoho CRM software. Right? I'm education. I'm a psychologist. I've never done science in my life, but I'm enjoying it. I suddenly realized, oh my God, why didn't I do it earlier? So you are young. You have these opportunities. Think out of the box. Do not think I am slotted to one discipline. The more diversity you learn, the more you will be able to then, when you think of a project, it doesn't fit into one slot. If I'm an architect and I'm building the ceiling, don't I have to think aesthetics? I have to think about the people who use it. I have to think of economics. I have to think of the materials that are used. So everyone today has to be interdisciplinary. And that brings us to our second program that we are going to talk to you about. Sonam, would you like to introduce what you want to talk about, the virtual internship program, before Kaushik joins us?
Yeah, hi. So I just want to talk a little bit about this program. I'm getting a lot of messages are coming in. First, let's answer some of them. Where a lot of students are asking us that do certificates really matter? So like I said, if you've attended any of our online, certificates do matter, but more from the sense of, if you've done a certificate, you give it to your counselor and they are able to then write about it in their reference letters. Suppose you don't have a certificate and you said, I've done this. What is the proof of that? So if you take it to your school counselor and said, this is the whole list of stuff I've done, but there is no documented proof of that, then a counselor or a teacher or your business teacher or your school teacher cannot verify it for you. So for verification, you do require it. But in terms of, do I require a certificate when applying to a university? then I don't think they really care. They are looking more at how have you used this knowledge to write about your experience, or write what you have learned from that and in a practical way showcase that. Whether it's in the NGO sector, whether it's using crowdfunding as a topic that you studied and then use that to crowdfund for some worthy cause, that is more important. But from the perspective of school counselors and your college counselors and your business school teachers, whoever's writing, your vice principals, I think that becomes important simply because you give them documentation to be able to verify it and prove it, and therefore then write about it for you, right? So from that perspective, I think that's important. Okay, now let me talk about the virtual internship program. That's the second one, which is being launched, and that is going to be spearheaded by Mr. Kaushik, who is going to join us. And he's a faculty head of entrepreneurship and business, actually, of Dalal Bajaj. For students who are not from Bombay, and even them, it's one of the best MBA schools of Mumbai, and they have amazing faculty there, and he's going to be spearheading that. This project will have mentors and internships. So this is not a entrepreneurship project where you're doing a lot of stuff, self-oriented research and creating your own project, and that is a different program. Whereas this will be with mentors, and this will be with an actual project from industry, where you will be given a topic, and in groups you will be actually having to solve that. Now, that could be a research-based project report that you create. It could be doing a social media campaign. It could be doing anything related to what the company asks you to do. And that will be the difference between the two programs. One is led by a stalwart of the industry who's teaching you entrepreneurship to come up with your own business plan. So a lot of students have actually used that. One of my really good students this year is using that idea to come up with a business plan for her traditional family business, and combining it with her interest in environment and her interest in women empowerment. And that's what she's been working on for a year after doing a program on entrepreneurship. So she's come up with this idea, and which is what she's going to take forward. Similarly, but the VIP program, which is there, which is going to be a different program, will be with 4 or 5 mentors from different industries who will be giving projects and doing mentoring of the students, and then take a final project back from them. This is going to also be over a period of 2 weeks, and will be a slightly different from the earlier project. Again, these are led by people from very high academic backgrounds and coming from very good academic institutes. They are specifically designing these programs for high school students based on the need of the hour, and it's being taught completely by them and designed by these people who have given their time to actually structure things at the high school level and bring it down from the college level. So I think that's the real value it will have for students, because at the end of the day, it is about skill building. It's any kind of skills that you can develop, even if it's working and doing chores at home, looking after a younger sibling, anything that's allowing you to explore different avenues. Because one of the things which I learned also when I was 18, 17, when I did my first job, it was at Reuters, is not only knowing what you do like, but also knowing what you don't like. So when I did my first job, Reuters is one of the biggest news providers for those who don't know it in the world. I did a project with their sales and marketing team, where I realized that I enjoyed communication and marketing, but the product which I was selling, which was in treasury and finance, went completely over my head, right? So at that age, at 17, because of my first internship and my first job experience, I understood what I actually liked and enjoyed versus what I didn't. And that was a great learning for me at such a young age, because it's not only about what you do know, but also what you don't like, which allows you to figure out who you want to be ultimately in life, right? So I think these kind of experience would be helpful for students.
What I want to add is, if you want to do all the projects, you can. We earlier were going to run them parallel, but now we will have the first program running from 8th June to 15th June. And believe me, it will be high power packed. And then from 16th June to 30th, you can be working with the virtual internship program. And then after that, we are having a 3-day workshop with volunteering with an NGO, where we already have people like Yasham, who runs a free foundation for schools, Green Souls, some waste management, electronic waste management. So we are doing it in such a way that if you are a proactive learner, you could do one of them, both of them, all three if you wish. So they will not run parallel, they will run one after the other. So depending on what you like. Yes, Sonam, you want to add to it?
Yeah, no, I just want to introduce, I think Kaushik is now online. So I'd like to just introduce Kaushik. Kaushik, can you come and say hi? This is Mr. Kaushik Shah, who's joined us in today for our panel. He's going to be heading the virtual internship program. And just to give you a little background on him, he's a really young entrepreneur who's been also a faculty. So he himself is an engineer from DJ Sangvi and a master's MBA from Dalal Bajaj. I think he's done a fabulous job as a faculty head and worked with a lot of young entrepreneurs. So one of the things that he does is work with entrepreneurs 30 under 30. So under 30-year-old people and how they've come up with ideas and sort of ideate with them. So Kaushik, if you can give us a little background about what the virtual internship program will be like. And I think that will give the students a glimpse of what that program is going to be all about.
Yeah, thanks, hi everyone. Thanks Sonam, thanks for the introduction and the kind words. So yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself as well. One thing that I really do want to mention is that I'd also done an internship when I was 19 years old. You know, Sonam, what you said really struck a chord with me as well. I worked at an IT company for about 1 month in between my summer vacation at 19. And what it actually taught me most of all was that I didn't want to do a job. And, you know, you don't know what you're going to learn from an internship. You might have some preset goals in mind, but you may not actually achieve those, and you might achieve something completely different. These kids are young, they're bright, and they might just take away any sort of learning out of this. There's no way to predict it. So what's really important above all else is to gain that experience. That experience really sets the child up for the rest of their career, because they realize, okay, you know, this is the path I want to take and this is the path I don't want to take. I'd like to really thank Dr. Jain and Mrs. Jain, Sonam as well, because for giving me this opportunity to set up and head this VIP program, the virtual internship program. The entire aim is over here that we want to make this fun. Okay, I've sat through a lot of lectures from a lot of faculty where it was not fun, right? And I understand that students want to be engaged. They want a practical learning out of the entire thing. It has to be activity based. It can't just be theory. We will be giving some theory, some notes, reading material, videos, all of that. And really, it's not necessary to the course. It's complementary to the course. So if we strike a good chord with the student should want to go through the material on his or her own. That's the entire way that we're going to go about it. There are going to be industry participants, mentors who are going to walk the students through their practical application of the skills that we teach. You know, that myself, Sonam, and Dr. Jain will participate in, that we teach, so that the students not only understand the concepts, but they also apply those concepts. The entire idea is to cover a whole gambit of skills, especially a digital ecosystem, prominent amongst which is the social media aspect, how we're going to set up a research methodology, how we're going to talk about surveys, getting meaningful data and applying it in a real world situation. Okay, because there is a complete information overload out there. We need to understand what is useful, what is not, and get good learnings out of the entire thing. I think that's the VIP program in a nutshell. And if anyone has any questions, please do come forward.
Thanks so much, Kaushik, for this quick update. It's a quick update from him. He's obviously going to go into more detail with it later on. And we have a brochure on that, which will be shared with everybody. So in case any of these things work for you or of our interest, please do sign up for it. Again, seats are always limited because we don't want it oversubscribed and don't want too many students to not have the best experience. So it's going to have limited, and it will be based on an application and an interview. So please go through the details, whichever programs appeal to you, sign up for it. If you have any further questions on how to build a resume other than these programs also, please write in to us and we'd be happy to do that. There are, if you are confused, and we've got a lot of feedback from students over the last few days, that if you are still confused, not sure, and you would like a one-on-one appointment with Dr. Jain specifically, we will share those details with you, and you can email or write into her, and she'd be happy to do an individual session with you and then guide you further on. Even if you're in the 9th standard to the 11th standard, 12th standard, the program that Kaushik has designed will be valid for you. You will be able to take away from that. In fact, one of the things that he was talking to me was how he can connect, say, team building exercise with IPL. So he's going to do a whole exercise on how do you figure out team building through the IPL matches. He's going to do something related to Manchester United to learn a different theory. You know, so it's about practical exposure, and not in a boring manner, but more in a real world application oriented way. That students' basic aim is to develop skills, get exposure, and that's why make the best decisions. It's honestly about that. How do you make decisions is only by exposing yourself, and like Dr. Jain said, by really going out there and getting practical experience. There's no other way to know what's right for you or not unless you speak to people and unless you experience it yourself. Kaushik, would you like to add to that?
No, I mean, that's very succinctly put. I don't think I have anything to add to that. Thanks.
Great. So that's the end of our discussion today. Thank you everybody for attending. We are always, like the last 4 sessions, bang on time. We started on time and we will end this session on time. I cannot thank Kaushik enough for coming so last minute and addressing the whole audience. Thank you so much, Kaushik, for taking time out and coming here and addressing the student body.
No, it's my pleasure.
If they have any further questions, I'm sure they will write into us and we will forward it to you. But looking forward to students joining in, for questions coming in to us. And thank you for all the panelists, all the different counselors who've joined in today, Dr. Jain, and obviously our students in parent body. If you have any other things that you would like curated, any other place that you want to know what's more you can do, we will try and curate them. We'll try and reach out to other people in different industries to get this organized for you. Because I do understand that schools and colleges are closed till August. Maybe colleges are closed till September. That's a lot of time at your hand. And you know, how much Netflix can you watch at the end of the day? Honestly, how much gaming can you do? But even gaming industry can be taught in a creative way. And you could learn to maybe have an entrepreneurial idea from that, or maybe do an internship related to that. So we don't know what can come out of these things, but we hope you use your lockdown time effectively, usefully, and definitely learn at least 1 or 2 skills at the end of it. I mean, if you've got 6 months of lockdown and not learned anything new, then there's something wrong with you. You need to at least learn 1 skill, if nothing else, whether it's dancing, singing, cooking, and even looking after your houses. It's a good skill to have. So here's hoping that you all have a great, great evening, and you come back to us with more questions, and we can do another useful panel for you next week. So stay tuned for more panels.
Thank you. Thank you. See you all.
Thank you, everybody. See you all.
Yeah. So I'd request my team to stay on, or do you want to log in back?
No, we can stay on if you have.
Stay on.
Yeah.
Just let's wait for people to exit the room.
Yeah.
Let's give them 5 minutes. Anyone from the participants who wants a question can also ask at this time. You can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, thank you for being here.